Chosen one, you're here again. And that is not coincidence. Something greater than curiosity brought you back today. Pause for a moment and listen closely, because what I'm about to share carries urgency. This message is not meant for everyone. If your heart is not aligned with God's truth, if you are walking a different path, this may feel uncomfortable and you may choose to leave. But if you are truly chosen, if you sincerely seek God, you will stay, because this moment was timed for you. This encounter was arranged by heaven. Nothing about this video is random. What you're about to hear will shift how you see yourself and how you understand what's been happening around you. It will bring clarity where there has been confusion, peace where there has been tension, and strength where you felt uncertain. Many of you already know what I'm referring to. You've noticed how people watch you. Their gaze lingers longer than normal, yet they rarely speak. They look at you, study you, but remain silent, and it's left you questioning yourself, wondering what it means. By the end of this message, that question will be answered, and your heart will finally be at ease. Stay with me until the end, because there is something you need to hear that will settle something deep within you. And if this speaks to your spirit, comment 444 below. This is not just a number. It's a declaration that you are divinely protected and aligned with what God is unfolding in your life. Section 2. The Invisible Mark. Why your presence shifts rooms. Chosen one, quiet your thoughts for a moment and receive this calmly. What you are experiencing is not coincidence, and it is not imagination. There is something on you that cannot be seen with natural eyes, yet it is powerfully felt. God places an unseen mark on those he calls, not a mark of ego or superiority, but a mark of purpose and assignment. This mark does not announce itself. It doesn't demand attention. It doesn't seek recognition, but it carries weight. And wherever weight enters, atmosphere changes. That's why you can walk into a space without saying a word and still feel eyes turn toward you. You didn't perform, you didn't try, yet something shifted the moment you arrived. People don't always stare because they admire you. Sometimes they stare because something inside them was disrupted. Your presence breaks familiar patterns. You bring calm into noise. You bring order into chaos effortlessly. That's not something you learned. That's something God built into you over time, often through isolation, pressure, and seasons of silence. Your presence speaks before your voice ever does. Before you open your mouth, something about you has already communicated depth, self-control, and integrity. Many people are not used to being around someone who doesn't carry insecurity into a room. Most enter spaces needing validation or approval. They rush to speak. They feel silence because silence exposes them. But you are different. You are grounded. You are steady, even when you don't realize it. And that stability creates discomfort in those who are emotionally unanchored. That's why the staring is often paired with silence. They are observing you, trying to understand you, attempting to categorize you. But you don't fit their familiar labels. You're not loud enough to dismiss, not weak enough to overlook, and not predictable enough to control. So they watch. This is important for your healing. The silence you encounter is not rejection or disrespect. It is recognition mixed with uncertainty. Your spirit carries authority that doesn't ask permission, and authority causes people to pause. It makes them careful. It makes them weigh their words even without knowing why. Some sense that you see more than you say, that you understand more than you reveal. That awareness alone can be unsettling. When people realize they cannot easily read you, they slow down. They become quiet, not because you intimidated them, but because something in them feels exposed. Do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were never meant to dilute what God placed within you. You don't need to perform smallness so others can relax. The discomfort you create isn't harm, it's contrast. Light never apologizes for revealing what darkness tried to conceal. This invisible mark also draws those who are spiritually hungry. Some stare because they feel peace near you, others because their conscience is awakened, not by your words but by your presence. And some simply recognize strength that doesn't need to prove itself. If this message spoke to you, like this video, subscribe so you don't miss what God is releasing next, and comment 444 as a declaration that you are aligned, protected, and walking in your divine assignment. Stay connected. This journey is only beginning. You are learning how to rest inside this truth without needing to defend it. You are not required to explain why you move the way you do or why your energy feels different. God shaped you with intention. He used pressure to sharpen you. He used quiet seasons to deepen you. He used misunderstanding to fortify you. And now, wherever you go, the residue of that refining process walks in with you. You are not unsettling because you are forceful. You are unsettling because you are stable. You are not observed because you are odd. You are noticed because you are uncommon. In a world full of emotional imbalance, groundedness feels unfamiliar. Peace stands out in chaos. The unseen mark you carry is also a form of protection. It creates space without confrontation. It limits access without you needing to say a word. God never intended for everyone to have entry into your inner world. Some connections dissolve simply because your presence reminds people they cannot control you. You don't need to correct this. You don't need to soften it. You don't need to lower your standards or dim your awareness to appear more approachable. What God placed on you is precise. It draws in who belongs and quietly pushes away who doesn't. So the next time you feel the weight of being watched, slow your breath. Don't tense your body. Don't question your worth. Don't rush to fill the silence. Let them observe. Let them process whatever stirs within them. Your responsibility is not to regulate their reaction. Your responsibility is to remain aligned. Section 3. When spirit recognizes spirit and fear goes silent. Chosen one, take a slow breath as you receive this, because this is where many long-held questions finally settle. Not every stare comes from confusion. Some come from recognition, and recognition, when paired with fear, often produces silence. There is a realm where spirit identifies spirit before logic ever gets involved. No words are needed. No introduction is required. It happens instantly and quietly when certain people cross paths. Something within them senses that you are different, even if they can't explain why. That sensing creates a pause. Many people live reactively, not discerningly. So when they encounter something they can't immediately label or control, they freeze. That freeze often looks like silence. They stare because their spirit detected something their mind hasn't yet sorted. Understand this clearly. When spirit recognizes spirit, it bypasses intellect. It doesn't wait for explanation, it simply knows. And knowing without understanding makes the ungrounded uncomfortable. They feel reverence but can't define it. They sense authority but can't name it. They recognize depth without context. And that uncertainty makes them cautious. This is why some people feel uneasy around you without reason. It's not about your behavior, it's about your frequency. Your spirit operates on a different level, and that level disrupts their normal way of engaging with the world. If this is resonating right now, take a moment to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss future messages created specifically for chosen ones like you. Fear also plays a role here, not fear of danger, but fear of exposure. Those who hide behind masks sense that you see beyond appearances. Those who depend on manipulation sense they can't maneuver you. Those who avoid truth sense that you carry it effortlessly, and that internal discomfort often shows up as silence. You've seen this pattern before. Some people gravitate toward you naturally, while others retreat without explanation. Those who pull away aren't always enemies. They're simply not aligned. Their spirit understands what your presence requires: honesty, depth, integrity, and they aren't ready for that exchange. Hear this gently. You are not responsible for soothing people who are uncomfortable with truth. You are not obligated to shrink so others can feel bigger. God tuned your spiritual frequency for a reason, and part of that purpose is disrupting comfort zones that have quietly become prisons. When spirit recognizes spirit, intention is revealed. Some stay silent because their motives wouldn't withstand your discernment. Some are measuring how to approach you. Others are watching to see if your grounding is real. Silence becomes a test, and you pass it by remaining centered. Release the need to decode every stare. Release the urge to justify every quiet moment. Not everything requires your interpretation. Sometimes the silence is simply proof that God placed something on you that others feel but cannot fully comprehend. And that is enough. This recognition works both ways. There are people you sense immediately, either safety or caution, without logical explanation. That is your spirit communicating. Trust it. Don't override it with overthinking. Don't dismiss it in the name of politeness. Discernment is not harsh. It is protective. Once you understand this, everything changes. You realize you're not imagining tension in certain spaces. You're not paranoid for sensing dishonesty. You're not overthinking when you instinctively pull back from someone who appears friendly on the surface. Your spirit is reading signals before your mind forms words. Many chosen ones were conditioned to doubt this gift. You were told you were judgmental when you were discerning, cold when you were cautious, unkind when you were setting boundaries. But boundaries are not rejection, they are wisdom. Remember this, your ability to perceive what others miss is not a flaw. It's part of your design. And the more you honor it, instead of explaining it away, the stronger it becomes. When spirit recognizes spirit, it cuts through noise and lands directly on truth. And truth is what sets you free. Section 4, the weight of silence, what it reveals about you. Chosen one, allow your perspective to shift for a moment. What you once believed was silence working against you is actually silence working on your behalf. God has been using the quiet around you as a tool of formation. He teaches you through what people withhold just as much as through what they give. Silence trains you to stand on your own. When affirmation disappears, you stop depending on approval. When explanations never come, you release the urge to manage how others see you. When engagement fades, you learn how to feel complete without being poured into by people. Silence removes the crutch of validation and forces you to lean into the strength God placed within you. Many of you were raised to think that silence always signals a problem. You were conditioned to assume that if people went quiet, you must have done something wrong. You learned to rush in with apologies, over-explanations, or emotional performances to fix discomfort. But God is undoing that pattern in this season. Silence also sharpens your discernment. Without constant noise, your vision clears. You begin to notice patterns instead of words. You recognize who approaches you with sincerity and who only shows up when it benefits them. You see who honors your boundaries and who tests them. Quiet creates space for observation without manipulation. Hear this clearly. Silence is not correction, it is preparation. God is teaching you how to carry influence without being shaped by influence. He is training you to walk in authority without needing constant reassurance. He is anchoring you in solitude so you never become desperate for company. There is a level of maturity that only silence can develop. When the voices fade, God's voice becomes clearer. When you stop filling every pause, you start seeing what the noise was hiding. When you stop performing for acceptance, you begin operating from purpose. Silence has also revealed something valuable to you. It has shown you who is truly aligned with you. The ones who stayed present without demanding explanations. The ones who respected your process without needing to understand it. The ones who did not pressure you to be louder or smaller. Those are your people. The silence filtered out the rest. Let this settle deeply. The quiet surrounding you right now is making room for the right connections later. God is clearing space. He is removing distractions. He is shielding you from premature relationships that would slow the work He is doing in you. Section 5, the strength you carry without realizing it. Chosen one, there is something important you must understand about yourself. The strength you carry was not manufactured, it was planted. And it has been developing quietly, often without your awareness. That is why people react to you before you speak. That is why rooms feel different when you enter. True power does not announce itself. It does not need volume or validation. It simply exists, and its presence alone is enough to be felt. You have been carrying this silently. Many of you only became aware of it because of how others respond to you. The looks you receive are not always curiosity. Often, they are assessment. People are instinctively gauging whether you will disrupt their comfort, challenge their patterns, or resist control. Before words are exchanged, something is already happening. You cause people to pause. You make them reconsider their approach. You make them more aware of themselves. That is not arrogance. That is the impact of authenticity in a world built on performance. Your restraint is part of your strength. You do not need to prove yourself. You do not need to constantly defend your choices. You do not need to explain your path to those who would never understand it anyway. That restraint separates real authority from imitation. Many chosen ones were taught to fear their own strength. You were told confidence was pride. You were warned that being powerful made you threatening. So you learned to shrink to keep others comfortable. But God is dismantling that lie. Your strength is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be stewarded. Not for domination, but for deliverance. Not for control, but for covering. Not for display, but for service. And you cannot serve effectively if you keep apologizing for what God entrusted to you. People will always react to your strength differently. Some will celebrate it. Some will fear it. Some will try to diminish it. Your responsibility is not to manage their reactions. Your responsibility is obedience. Section 6. Why you don't owe explanations. Chosen one, I want to speak directly to the part of you that feels the need to explain yourself. The part that feels guilty when you are misunderstood. The part that wants to clarify, justify, and defend every decision. Release that weight. You do not owe anyone an explanation for how God is working in your life. You do not owe everyone access to your process. You do not owe detailed reasoning for decisions God already confirmed. Some things are meant to remain sacred between you and Him. Many of you were taught that silence equals secrecy, and secrecy equals guilt. So you overshare. You explain too much. You give access to people who never earn trust. And each time you do, you weaken the boundaries God told you to protect. Silence is not hiding. Silence is guarding. It protects your peace from unnecessary opinions. It protects your vision from premature criticism. It protects your energy from debates God already settled. Here is a powerful truth. When you stop explaining yourself, people stop feeling entitled to explanations. When you stop defending your choices, people lose interest in attacking them. And that is when freedom deepens. If you want, I can continue with Section 7 in the same prophetic, viral-ready style, or tighten this into a high-retention YouTube script ending. When you stop chasing validation, people lose the ability to withhold it as control. This doesn't turn you cold or distant. It makes you wise. You begin to share only with those who have earned trust. You open your heart to those who respect what you carry. You explain yourself to people who seek understanding, not leverage. Chosen one, there is freedom in letting others remain curious. There is strength in allowing questions without rushing to answer them. There is wisdom in holding certain things close until God says it's time. Even Jesus taught this principle when He said, not every treasure is meant to be placed before everyone. Some truths are sacred. Some journeys are private. Those who are meant to walk beside you will understand you even when you say very little. Those assigned to support you will trust the process even when the picture isn't clear. Those aligned with your calling will respect your boundaries without demanding access. And here's the blessing many people miss. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop draining yourself. You no longer waste energy on conversations that go nowhere. You stop repeating truths to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Peace returns. So the next time someone looks at you quietly, resist the urge to fill the space. Let them sit with their questions. Let them process what they feel. Let them wonder. You are not required to be understood by everyone. Your responsibility is obedience to God. Section 7. The shift ahead when silence changes its tone. Chosen one, listen calmly here, because this is where tension gives way to hope. The silence you're experiencing is not permanent. It's temporary. It's a season. And every season God ordains has an ending. A shift is approaching, and many of you already sense it forming quietly beneath the surface. The people who once observed you without words will not remain silent forever. The change won't come because you altered yourself. It will come because God finishes what He's been shaping in you, and clarity replaces uncertainty. Right now, many people don't know how to approach you because they can't yet define you. They sense depth, direction, and potential, but it hasn't fully manifested in a way they can label. People speak confidently about what they can explain. They hesitate around what is still unfolding. But unfolding never stays hidden. There comes a moment when preparation becomes visible, when consistency produces fruit, when the quiet strength you've carried begins to show results. And when that happens, the way people speak to you changes. Those who once watched cautiously will speak with respect. Those who stayed distant will ask questions. Those who underestimated will adjust their tone. Not because you demanded recognition, but because truth matured. This is how God protects you from premature praise and premature judgment. If people spoke too early, their opinions could shape you. If they judged too soon, their misunderstanding could weaken you. Silence keeps you free while God completes His work. Here is something healing to understand. The quiet around you is proof that your life is still being written, and that is a gift. God minimizes interruptions so the story stays intact. Many of you are closer to recognition than you think, but recognition doesn't arrive loudly at first. It comes subtly, through changed looks, altered tones, thoughtful pauses before people speak. Not fear, respect. This is when silence transforms. What once felt awkward becomes attentive. What once felt heavy becomes calm. If you feel this shift beginning, declare it. Comment 444 below as a sign that you're ready to step into this next season with clarity, confidence, and divine alignment. You'll know the shift has arrived when you stop analyzing reactions, when peace replaces overthinking, when other people's opinions no longer control your emotions. God does not elevate chaos, He elevates stability. And stability takes time to witness. Those not meant to walk with you will drift away naturally. Those aligned will step forward without force. You won't have to recruit anyone. God will arrange the encounters. As recognition grows, guard your heart with humility. Visibility is not the goal, alignment is. Recognition is simply the result of obedience over time. Some will begin seeking your perspective. Some will listen where they once spoke over you. Some will value what they once ignored. This isn't superiority, it's credibility built through consistency. Don't rush the process. Don't announce your growth. Let it reveal itself naturally. God knows exactly when visibility becomes safe. The next season will feel lighter, not because life is easier, but because your inner world is steadier. You'll speak when necessary, stay silent when wise, and move without anxiety. The staring will fade. Confusion will settle, silence will become clarity. And when people finally speak, their words will sound different. Their posture will change. Their tone will carry respect, even if they still don't fully understand you. That's when you'll realize something powerful. The silence was never meant to make you doubt yourself. It was meant to prepare you for the weight of being heard. Stay patient, stay aligned, stay grounded. The shift is coming, and you'll recognize it not by noise, but by peace. Section 8, Conclusion. Be still, God is working chosen. 1. Let your spirit rest here for a moment. Everything you've been experiencing has meaning, purpose, and divine order. People look at you and say nothing, not because you lack something, not because you're strange, and not because you're failing. They pause because you carry weight, and weight always slows a room. You were never meant to chase words from people still trying to understand themselves. God allowed silence to surround you so your spirit could strengthen without distraction. He allowed observation without explanation so you could develop restraint, stability, and inner authority. Nothing was wasted. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared, and preparation often looks quiet from the outside. You don't need to change who you are to be accepted. You don't need to explain what God is doing in you. You don't need to react to every stare or fill every pause. Your role now is simple. Stay aligned, stay grounded, stay still. God is handling conversations you are not meant to have yet. God is quieting voices that would speak too soon. God is protecting your peace from unnecessary noise. Trust that. Before we close, Chosen One, if this message resonated, support it. Like this video so it reaches others who need this clarity. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what God is releasing in this season. Share this with someone who needs reassurance today. And finally, comment 444 as a declaration that you are divinely protected, spiritually aligned, and walking confidently in your assignment. The silence is not rejection, it is redirection. The stares are not judgment, they are recognition. And the shift you've been waiting for is already underway. Walk in peace, Walk in strength. Walk in purpose. You are exactly where you need to be.